Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Salty Sweet Games, where we shenanigan, sob, and smooch our way through tabletop role-playing games and scream our way through various video games. I am Salty.
And I'm Sweet.
And these various assorted spices are our friends. Hello, welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, our long-running Pulp Cthulhu game. We have just entered a new continent. It's very exciting stuff. We're in Australia. Welcome. It's a great time to join us because we're all gonna be loose. Is this loose? Is this what this is? Loosey-goosey. Sure. Before we go around and meet everyone and their characters, we have some channel shout-outs real quick. Firstly, a ton of thanks to our sponsors, starting with Roll20, our virtual tabletop of choice, which unites gamers across any distance with easy-to-use tools that run straight from your web browser for free. We are part of their Spotlight program, which highlights indie tabletop creators all across the interwebs. And we're very grateful to be here. Yes, we are. We are also partners, affiliates with Dice Envy and Grinding Coffee Co. Two awesome companies. Dice Envy, of course, makes your physical click-clacks, your shiny math rocks. And Grinding Coffee Co. is a Black and LGBT plus owned business that makes delicious coffee, of which I drink in abundance. I don't know if they still have it, but they literally made a coffee called the Gay Agenda, and it's everything to me. It's everything to me. I hope they still have it because I'm going to order some. We have affiliate links and discount codes with them you can check out down below or popping up in the chat. We also, of course, have our Streamlabs tip jar. That's there. You can also do monthly / recurring tipping now through Streamlabs. Thank you, Streamlabs. Basically, anything that comes in goes to supporting the channel, compensating the cast, working on new projects, and maintaining ones like this. Yeah, it's always appreciated but never expected, so feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy. I think maybe this was off kilter. Maybe that's what this was. I think it was this is off kilter is what I meant. What else? Ooh, you can affect the game. You can go read down below in the affect the game panel. Yeah, you can. If you would like to help the investigators out with rerolls or eldritch gifts that are always good. They're always good. We're always happy to have them. Or healing them, like saving them from the dead, that can be helpful too. I mean, I guess they're probably fine. Nobody here needs it, I'm sure. Last thing, we here at Salty Sweet Games use safety tools, lines, veils, X and O cards, stars and wishes, and content warnings because while the characters may be put through hell or driven to the brink, the players are here to have fun, and they're our priority always. Without further ado, let's talk to them, starting with Kienna.
Hi, everyone. That was a lot more of a ramp up than I was expecting.
You liked it.
I did.
I'm your hype man.
You're always my hype man. Hi, everyone. I'm Kienna. I'm the sweet of the channel. My pronouns are she and they. But today I am playing Irene Blackwell. Pronouns are she and her. She is a forger. She is a mom. This is how my introduction of her is now. And she's also probably weighing it over her head with weird magic shit happening that she will not want to touch at all. No magic for her. She's just gonna be over here shooting cultists. No studying magic. No touchy.
No thanks. No thank you. Good, excellent. Allison, hi, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, everybody, it's Allie. I play Ganymede Graves, adventure scientist. She likes the ocean, long walks in the rain, and reading, especially the Necronomicon.
Yes, very good. Good. That's beautiful. I love that. Summer!
Hi, hello, it's me, Summer. Hi, I use she, her pronouns, and today I'm playing one Mr. Charlie Rapp who uses he, him pronouns, and he's just totally chill, hot, rich,
poisoned,
dying, recovering from death, But like so sexy. So like, you know,
It works
making
out.
death look beautiful.
Yeah.
Got possessed. Also got a little bit of a demon inside of me, but
Possessed,
it's okay.
poisoned, psychic. That's a P.
Yeah. Oh, psychic too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 3 P's.
Three Ps.
Yeah. Charlie Rapp. R-A-P-P-P. Stupid. Goodbye.
And last but not least, Eli.
Hi. I'm Eli. I use he, they pronouns. Today I'm playing Professor Winston Finn, but you can call him Winnie. He also uses he, they pronouns. He's accepting of all of the weird shit that's going on for now. We'll see if he reaches his limit. I'm sure it's imminent.
I'm sure it is too. Excellent. Okay, let's get into it. If you have never joined us before, guess what? Now is the perfect time because we are literally in a completely new space. So much is going to happen. So here's a brief rundown of the campaign so far. The investigators came together over the murder of their good friend Jackson Elias, who was investigating the infamous Carlisle expedition, the members of which were all formerly presumed dead. That led him and now you all to a conspiracy involving various death cults around the world. Many names, many forms, but all the same end to one end. You know that these cults are amassing in specific locations around the globe and working together to build an airborne machine that will rupture and taint the sky in order to open the gate for their god, Nyarlathotep. Yay, super cash. You have figured out that the date of the machine's launch will coincide with the solar eclipse on January 14th, 1926, a little over half a year from now. And that a great ritual will be performed in precise synchronicity. You know the machine is in Shanghai, which you had to leave abruptly, but you are in Australia because you have reason to believe that either the machine's backup or origin, something is coming out of Australia that allowed them to build the machine. So that's why we're here. To be specific, last time we opened with a flashback to a dream that Professor Winston Finn had earlier this year, one in which he was visited by Jackson Elias, who asked Winnie to help his friends. Winnie also got a glimpse of the apocalyptic future our heroes are trying to prevent. They were then awoken by their colleague and chum, Anthony Cowles, who was coincidentally on the way back to Darwin, Australia with his daughter Ava. In the present, now we're in the present, 1925, Captain Isoje Taro of the Japanese Imperial Navy grilled the investigators about blowing his cover in Shanghai and why they were heading to Australia. The captain eventually agreed to assist them. On the 2.5-week journey, Charles tried contacting his long-dead high school sweetheart Annie, whom he had seen when he briefly died in Shanghai again. And Ganymede received a letter from John Craig, her lover. Winnie revealed to Irene how they came to be in the right place at the right time, and also shared a file that came into his possession. A psychoanalyst's assessment of Roger Vane Worthington Carlyle of the Carlisle expedition. Winnie also had something else with him, something he could not possibly have. Jackson Elias's pocket watch. I'm sure that's all well and good. So, arrival in Darwin, Australia. Darwin is in the Northern Territory. And the date of your arrival, everyone. Ooh, I'm frozen, aren't I? Come back, me. It was a good pose, I think. I think I looked really good in that pose. Arrival in Darwin is Sunday, June 14th, 1925. I know you're all very excited about that. So, a little bit of a history a history, not a history lesson, just a history. So, some context. At this time, Australia is an independent dominion within the British Commonwealth, and internally it is a federation of states. The Aboriginal Australians and Torres Strait Islanders, the custodians of, obviously, of immense knowledge about the Australian land, both its mundane and supernatural aspects, were displaced and discriminated against by the white settlers from Europe. To the Aboriginal people, the landscape is filled with an overwhelming variety of spirits. According to the oral tradition handed down generation to generation, these spirit ancestors, or totemic entities, literally formed the topography and natural landscape of the world. And geologically speaking, Australia is ancient. The country's weathered face is made up of some of the oldest rocks found anywhere on Earth, some dating back over 4 billion years. Most visitors coming from Britain, Europe, or America expect that the entire Australian continent will be a green fringe round desert. In reality, there's a huge variety of landscapes that are somewhere between these two extremes. Australia has a well-deserved reputation for blistering heat, but Darwin, where you are, is in the monsoon area of the country, so the weather actually isn't much different than that of Shanghai. Travel is hard here, with many highways being no more than tracks, and trains and steamships are a far easier way to go. Darwin, it's a town of about a few thousand inhabitants. The Northern Territory is pretty empty right now. Darwin is the biggest city for over 1,000 miles. And it's very racially diverse, in part due to a recent gold rush. Yeah, so this is where we are. I have a picture to share with you. Boom. I should show everyone, I think. Yeah, look, isn't that nice?
That's pretty art.
It is.
It's beautiful.
I picked up the, what is it called? What did I pick up? Terror Australias from Chaosium to get some more context on this place. Yeah, I love this. So, I imagine that's you all, stepping off the Shibasu Maru and entering Darwin. Back to faces. Hello. So, is there anything any of you would like to do as the ship docks? And I think distantly you can see Anthony Cowles and his daughter Ava Winnie. You recognize them. And I think the rest of you would probably be able to pick them out because at least the older man, is very excitedly waving. He's not a subtle man.
Yeah, I think Charlie has done like a lot of traveling, but I don't think he's ever been to Australia before. So yeah, definitely like taking it all in, looking around. Even though, Darwin is so far from other major cities, like still very cool to be in a new place. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely like slowly, I mean, he's obviously had the weeks on the ship to recover. But I think still like not looking like 100%,
Yeah.
Because I imagine like maybe just looks like a little bit thinner just because he probably wasn't eating a ton while he was poisoned. Yeah. So, yeah, he's just taking it all in and like steadying himself on the rail as he's coming down off the ship.
Mm-hmm. What about Ganymede? I think you're muted, babe.
I am. Ganymede is the last one down the gangplank. She's felt more at home over these last 2 weeks at sea than she has in a long time. And as she does, she is looking around and taking in the scene, and she's very quietly, I think, saying to her, she has a smile on her face, but she's very quietly saying to herself, 214 days to the apocalypse.
Good. What about Irene?
Irene is, I think in a lot of other places that she's been in, like she's kind of taken the time to like take in the places and the wonderment of being somewhere new. But I think after, so many not great experiences in new places, I think like she obviously does take in this brand new environment, the heat, the starkness of everything. But where she would normally, perhaps try to commit some of this into an artist's mind, she instead kind of just hurries down the gangplank.
Yeah. And what about Winnie?
So Winnie notices the watch in his pocket and it's like, maybe it's not the right time to pull that out in front of everyone. So he just like tries to act like he didn't notice it there. And as he's taking in everything and he finally locks eyes with Dr. Cowell's Winnie gets this like very large smile on his face and is like someone that I know that isn't fleeing from death, thank God. And he returns the excited wave and honestly probably starts walking towards, unless someone like says something.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Captain Isurgitero and the rest of his undercover crew watch all of you go. I'm sure you discussed they are returning to Shanghai to do some more reconnaissance on Great Dragon Island. So, as you disembark, Professor Anthony Cowles he's a tall man, large with hair that kind of flies back and a big bushy beard, already smiling. His daughter, Ava, who's about, I would say like 20, kind of has the same kind of russet color hair that he does. But she's very small next to her father, who is still waving, has pretty much been waving the whole time and kind of excitedly, like, waiting. But as you step off onto the dock proper, he strides up to you, Winnie, and wraps you in a hug. Kind of lifts you off the ground a bit.
Yeah, Winnie returns like the excitement fully. Oh, it's been so long.
It really has. He kind of looks expectantly at the rest of you. Although he hasn't quite, I think he like keeps a hand on your shoulder, Winnie. He's like overwhelmed. I think you can tell that, Darwin is very small, right? And he, had been in New York and, in Arkham and all these places. And he looks like he's maybe a little, pent up, but Ava is just kind of smiling patiently as introductions begin.
Yeah.
Charlie steps forward and extends a hand, and he says, "I'm Charles Rabbit. You can call me Charlie. Good to meet you."
You as well, you as well. He looks at Ganymede and Irene.
Ganymede says, introduces herself. Lieutenant Ganymede Graves of the Daring, and she looks also at Ava and smiles.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna show y'all some pictures, because why not?
Ooh.
Yes, this is Professor Cowles.
Yes.
Nice. He's
Love
very, when I thought about it, I was like, what would this man look like? Yeah.
I imagine
that-
like Jim Broadbent, just with like a big beard. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Irene will be like, Irene Blackwell, nice to meet you.
He shakes hands. He kind of like starts to pull it together a bit, and this is Ava. So introductions are made, and he says, well, we could, let's see, what's around here? I'm sure you're all famished, and glad to be back on land. I don't think I could, he looks at the boat, kind of, as the Shibasumaru is resupplying. How was the, passage over?
It was pretty good for the most part.
Miserable for some of us.
Yeah, Charlie was going through it, but you're all good now, right, Charlie?
Sure, all good. 100% couldn't be better.
All right, well, there's Bertram's bar nearby if we'd all like to get a drink and some food.
Love a drink.
That sounds great.
All right. He kind of claps his hand together like he was like, oh man, I really hope this idea goes over well. And he's very pleased with himself. Yeah, and he'll start to lead you. Yeah, Ganymede.
Yeah, after smiling winningly for a moment, Ganymede is going to, while all of this conversation is happening, she's sort of looking around the pier where we came in, looking specifically for people who might be watching all of us.
Ah, yes, of course. Of course, yes, make a spot hidden check.
I would love to.
Nice.
A hard success.
Okay. Interestingly, as I kind of mentioned last time, you do see trucks from the Randolph Shipping Company, and the folks are driving them. Though I think there are passing glances. It doesn't look like anyone is particularly watching you. Not at this time, anyway. But you're confident about that.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay, so to Bertram's, the bar. So, in real life Australia, the ladies were not permitted in the bars at this time, but who cares? We will go into the bars. Bertram's did have a ladies' lounge, but we're all in the same lounge. Anthony Cowles is definitely recognized here, very boisterously, saying hello to different people, ordering drinks and food, and you are all gathered.
Ganymede orders something hearty off the menu. She is she is really hungry, and probably orders a beer of some kind, which might be a bit out of the ordinary. I don't know that she's not necessarily been one to drink during the day very much, but she does, and she is still keeping an eye on things, on their surroundings and people, feeling a bit, just suspicious of everyone and everything, basically.
Ooh, yeah. Why don't you make a listen check?
Yeah. Oh, I failed that one.
That's all right. I mean, Bertram's is very popular, so it's difficult to pick out individual bits of conversation. But it does seem to be like a bit buzzy in here. People are chatting.
Yeah. Cool.
Charlie's definitely like way more laid back, and is probably orders something like a harder liquor, like a whiskey or something like that. And definitely, I think like he's been kind of out of it. He's definitely like getting his footing back. Like now that they're on dry land and he's like has recovered from being poisoned. This is like probably the first time he's felt like, because it's like you go straight from being poisoned to you're still on a boat.
Yeah.
Like, so now I think he's like kind of getting his bearings and looks over at Professor Cowles and says, so how did you and Winnie meet?
Oh, well, I was doing a kind of guest lecture at Arkham at Miskatonic in Massachusetts, and then they sent me over to New York, to their New York location. I was trying to raise funds for an expedition of sorts. Very, very interesting stuff. Well, I thought so. Apparently not as interesting to people across thousands and thousands of miles.
You have actually met a group that is quite fond of a good expedition, if you wouldn't mind sharing more about it.
Oh, certainly. Well, I could just go on about it, and Ava kind of interrupts quietly. He has his slides back at the house. They're very important to his whole spiel. And he kind of blushes and like just takes a sip of his beer.
Well, I'm sure that we would all love to see them.
Oh, you would? Ah, good. Yeah, so it's just better if you can have visuals to kind of enhance your presentation. At least that's what I thought. Maybe I should have made one of the moving pictures. Do you think that's what I should have done? He looks at Winnie.
I think Winnie looks back. I think you could have. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's really hard to keep them engaged over there. It's a struggle.
So he kind of finishes his drink, and unless there's anything else you want to do in Bertram's, he will start leading you kind of through the streets to his home.
Hell yeah, I want to see these slides. I want to hear more about this expedition.
Yes.
I've been to those. I've been on an expedition before.
You have in Peru.
Heard about them. Yep.
Yeah, and it went really well for everyone.
It went great for everyone.
Yeah. Cool.
I hate to be cliche about all of this, but as we're walking, can I engage I'll try to engage Ava in a little bit of conversation if we can.
Do you hate to be cliche, Allie? Do you hate it?
It depends on the cliches.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want to talk to Ava about? She is. She's a very hot. Winnie, you would know this. Cowles was like everyone on campus knew where the Cowles lived because of Ava.
How old is she roughly?
She's like 20.
Estimate.
You're like 25.
I'm
yes,
like
that's right.
I'm like 30.
Your sheet does not say, does it?
Yes, it does. I'm 29.
Oh.
I'm turning 30
Gammy's
soon.
like 22.
25.
Oh my god, what? I don't know what ages any. I'm remembering
Zeb is
your-
like 22.
Yeah, Zeb is 22.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we were 25
Yeah.
in Peru.
Yes, you were 25 in
Yes.
Peru. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm a man, excuse me.
Yes, you're a grown man.
Grown.
Okay.
A whole man.
One adult male.
So I think it's small talk. It's just so how do you find Darwin, Miss Cowles?
It's a little boring in comparison with New York.
Yes. Well, I've found many places to be boring in comparison with New York.
She smiles.
And what does one do in Darwin for enjoyment, for entertainment?
One leaves.
And Ganymede laughs at that kind of loudly. Yes, well, that's understandable. I think it's just small talk like that as we're.
Yeah, small talk. Wink. Wonk.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. He has a home much not the only reference I have is Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. It's not quite as grand as Franny Fisher's home, but I imagine kind of a similar style. And it is big enough to kind of house all of you, not in separate rooms, but like comfortably enough. A lot like the cottage in Oxford. So yeah, he brings you in, kind of everybody starts to get settled, and he's like going through, you see like boxes of papers and slides, and it's very messy. It's very kind of like kooky professor, as everything is everywhere. And anytime he can't find something, Ava just kind of like clears her throat and points at something, and then he's able to find what he's looking for. And he gets set up. Huzzah. Oh, yes. So he pulls out these 4 glass slides to put in, to kind of put over light and blow up for all of you to look at, but you can also just look at them close up. And he goes over what his talk was when he was in New York the day that Jackson Elias was murdered. He says, so, did you know that a bat cult once existed among the Aboriginal peoples of Australia? It was known all across the continent, and the god of this cult was called the Father of All Bats. And he kind of like pauses for dramatic effect. Great. Good. I'm sure he's happy with that. Ava just kind of clears her throat again, and he goes, right. Adherents of this cult believe that by making human sacrifices to their god, they themselves would become worthy enough that the Father of all bats would appear to them. And then once he was enticed to appear, he would conquer all men, something like that. So the sacrifices, right? The worshippers struck victims with clubs embedded with sharp teeth of bats, and the teeth were coated with a fast-acting poison, apparently apparently somehow derived from fermented bat droppings. Very interesting stuff. The victims apparently went mad before they died, and leaders of the cult reputedly could take the forms of bat-winged snakes, enabling them to steal sacrifices from all across the land. Of course, this was... He kind of looks at all of your faces. What are all of your expressions right now as he's going on?
Attent, like listening, like very
Yes.
zone. I'm honed in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I'm a good listener.
Yep.
Yep.
Winnie's huge smile. This is round 2, and he loves this shit.
Yeah.
So he's good.
Nice. Irene?
Irene's being polite. There's a lot going over her head. She's just kind of like smile and nod,
And he's
smile
like
and nod.
talking so fast, right?
Yeah. It's just it's that smile and nod of like, I am not absorbing anything you're saying, but I am here
But
and engaging.
yeah, I support you. I think Ava like looks at Ganymede as Cowles is pausing for effect. What is Ganymede's expression?
She's taking all of this deadly seriously. And what is Ava's expression?
Kind of, she's heard this so many times, like, it's academic, right?
Yeah.
So she's a little, like, bemused by your expression, and Cowles, Anthony kind of hones in on you. He's like, oh, not to worry, Miss Graves, this was, hundreds of years ago, dormant or extinct now, anyway, and he goes on. So there's an Aboriginal song cycle that mentions a place where these enormous beings gathered somewhere in the west of Australia. The songs say that these gods, who were not at all like men, built great sleeping walls and dug great caves, but the living winds blew down the gods and overthrew them, destroying their camp. When this happened, the way was open for the father of all bats, who came into the land and grew strong. And you're kind of remembering the picture he showed you, Winnie, of those monoliths, which I think he has out and about and kind of like passes around. And then he has more like this on the glass slides, kind of overexposed. You can see in these slides as you pass them around a few men, like drenched in sweat, standing beside, much like this photo, enormous blocks of stone, pitted and eroded, but clearly dressed and formed for architectural purposes. You can see dim carvings on some of the stones, but you can't really make them out, and there's sand everywhere. He says, these were taken by the discoverer, my late colleague Arthur McWhirr of Port Hedland, and he kept a diary in which he recorded several attacks on the party by, he didn't know who by, and McWhirr reportedly records deaths of the victims by hundreds of small punctures. And he like pauses like, whoops, I'm frozen again. Another amazing pose. Excellent. Hundreds of small punctures. And he looks at all of you. Like the clubs with the bat teeth. And Ava kind of says that with him. Now, I have this diary. McWhirr left it to me in his will. McWhirr was a friend. That's why I had to leave New York so suddenly. after the lecture, Winnie. Now, interestingly, this is a fun story I like to tell, and Ava kind of gives him this look. He says, "I believe that someone broke into my apartment in Miskatonic to steal this diary, but fortunately, I always carry it on me." Ava says, "Yes, it's a great story, Father," and just kind of patiently waits for him to finish. "Oh, right. Right, in Northern Australia, this father of all bats is also called the sand bat, and they tell a story up there of this father of all bats having a battle of wits with a rainbow snake, which is the Aboriginal deification of water, patron of life, etc. So the rainbow snake succeeds in tricking and trapping the sand bat and his clan in the depths of a watery place from which the sand bat can only complain and is unable to return to trouble the people." And he kind of starts to draw. And so this is kind of the story of this trick is usually accompanied by drawing, and he draws a rudimentary snake eye. That's Lauren's look, not his. Oh yes, and this of course is the sign of the sand bat, and he sketches that out too. Looks like that.
Ganymede, I think, has been taking some notes in her little hardback notebook, and without looking up, just as she's jotting, she's kind of copying the symbol, knowing that Irene is going to do it much better, but she's copying it in her notebook, and without looking up, she says, "Dr. Cowles, does the name Nyarlathotep mean anything to you?"
No? Should it?
She sighs, but then looks up to him and says, "Well, perhaps it should." But before continuing, she kind of looks to the others for some permission. Or like the look is like, "Are we doing this?"
Yeah. Charlie just nods.
Yeah. So if the others do too, she says, perhaps we could share with you just what it is that's brought us to Australia.
Oh, certainly.
And I think maybe we'll start with Jackson Elias and briefly, I'm not going to go into tons of detail, but kind of briefly describe our encounters with the cult around the world. But I think I'm going to hold off on the machine at this point. I'm going to, that we know that that's a thing, and simply say that we believe that they're seeking a way to bring their God into the world or back into the world. And I'll look to the others in hopes that you all will fill in important things where I've missed, but that piece I'll leave out, I think.
So I assume this takes a while, as there's a lot to be said, and I think Cowell's kind of, at first he's standing still in the excitement of sharing his research, and like eventually is like sitting and like undoing his tie and like slowly taking it all in. Ava, pretty early on, like is making tea. She's still within hearing distance, though. When you first mentioned Jackson Elias, Cowles shares with you what he shared with Winnie about how he was hoping to meet him there because of this cult, and he thought it was probably related to some of Jackson's research. But he's mostly silent after that. And then the whole place is just silent, and you can just kind of hear the ticking of a clock.
So, thoughts, questions?
So, and he kind of just trails off, and Ava says, "So you think all these cults are worshipping the same being?"
Yes. Yes. Many names, many forms, but all the same into one end.
Do you think this, father of all bats or sand bat could be another face of this god?
I would think so, yes.
She kind of, like, Anthony kind of leans back. He's got his, like, handkerchief and is kind of patting away some of the, perspiration. And Ava says, there have been some, rumors floating around, especially, I'm sure you noticed the excitement in Bertram's. Recently, the last few years, this is what initially sparked my father's curiosity. Apparently people living in the Great Sandy Desert are currently worshipping some kind of bat god. Quite nasty one. There have been corpses found by caravans and drovers, and the victims seemed diseased, covered with these puncture wounds. There was someone who runs a camel caravan said he actually saw the bat god, though he's not likely to be back in Darwin for months. Other rumors say the leader of this cult is a white man, and that out in the Great Sandy Desert there is a city, much like my father's talking about. The story goes, this city, there's a great old man who sleeps with his head in his arms, snores beneath it, named Budai. And one day he will rise and devour the world. It does seem to have some similarities with what you've shared with us.
Well, I would think that we would want to look into it.
Father, do you think you should show them? And you see Anthony's hand kind of press, like, against his jacket pocket. Well, of course I'm happy to, share. Just, yeah, he kind of nods, and pulls out a journal, a very, like, weather-beaten, almost falling apart journal, and kind of lays it out. Told you my, friend, Anthony, had, a diary about, what he witnessed. And he just kind of, like, he leaves his hand on it a long time. Obviously, he hasn't really, shared it openly like this before. Like he said, he always keeps it on him. Damn this camera. Am I back? I'm back. And he kind of looks at Winnie and, like, kind of pushes it towards you to read.
Yeah, I tentatively go and grab it. Open it.
And you can go ahead and read it if you like.
Sure. March 22nd. At noon today, we found Jock, partially buried in a gully. His body was scoured and covered with hundreds of small puncture wounds, as though someone had sandblasted him. We buried him, of course. I shall miss his counsel. March 23rd. 22 degrees, 3 minutes, 14 seconds south by 125 degrees, 0 minutes, 39 seconds east. Great sandy desert. Have discovered what appears to be remnants of an ancient city from the shifting sands. I believe I have secured several good photographs of this amazing find, though the heat has ruined all but 6 of my photographic plates. By the pitting of the stone, the blocks and pillars appear to be more than 10,000 years old. Incredible. March 24th. 4 camels killed in the attack last night. I saw at least 2 men, and more must have been skulking out there. I'm sure I hit 1. That ends this trip. We'll have to head back to
Concudgery. Concudgery.
Concudgery and report this incident. More than men were out there that night. I saw shapes much bigger than men during the attack. My evidence is the body of old Sam the camel. Punctured and scraped is the best way that I can describe the remains, just like poor Jock. Since the attack lasted only a couple of minutes, it's hard for me to believe that anything human could have done so much damage so quickly. But then, what was it? May 15th. Have told Anthony Cowles about the city. Together we aim to return and undertake a full survey, if we can get the funds. When he saw the photographic plates, he was flabbergasted, now keen as mustard to work with me to realize the discovery.
And those are all the entries that kind of have stood the test of time and whatever McWhirr went through.
And this is all from this is like March of this year or the previous year?
The previous year.
Okay. I think I close it and I look to the others and just say, have any of you seen things like this before?
Not deaths particularly like this, but every place we've encountered one of these cults, the manner of death is usually unusual and very particular to the area and the cult that worships whatever god. And so it's not shocking to me that this is something that we haven't seen before, but that doesn't mean that it's out of line with what we're looking for.
I look back to Anthony. Have there been any recent attacks?
Just what Ava mentioned. Not particularly here, more near Port Hedland.
We do have a few things to look into in town, but maybe after we finish that up, we'll head that way.
Well, and he kind of stands up. If you're thinking of undertaking an expedition, I believe I would be integral to such an enterprise.
We would love to have you.
And you should know, Dr. Cowles, that the danger is very real and should not be entered into lightly.
He, has a very somber face, but you can see kind of the shift of excitement. We'll need supplies, of course. Many supplies.
Yes, we do have some time to get things together while we finish up business here.
All right. And he kind of lifts the diary back and puts it in his inner pocket again, carefully.
Can I ask a question? Probably?
Yeah.
Does he look super protective over it? Like unnaturally?
He looks as though I don't know.
Has it possessed him?
Has it possessed him?
Good question.
It does not seem like it. It seems like, this had, McWhirr is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of the only record of the location he was at when he found these stone monoliths.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the only real evidence he had it.
Yeah, it's like a sacred thing still. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. But more like the academic reverence than
Yeah.
yeah.
He's taking care of it because it's a one of a kind, very rare
edition.
thing. Yeah. Singular edition. Yeah.
Oh, and interestingly, I misspoke. It was about 4 years ago. The
Okay.
diary is dated.
Right. Okay. So, Professor, if you would like to take point on getting supplies together, and I'm sure that you would be the best to help arrange transportation.
He nods. He doesn't look as confident, and Ava said, so the whole reason we were in New York was to raise funds
Oh, I can pay for it. That's not an issue.
for an entire expedition to the Outback.
Yes.
She just kind of stares at you. All right. It's just looking generally dubious. I can take care of the arrangements.
Of course. Just keep me posted.
I'd be happy to help. Ava, of course. It should be a trimmed down affair, perhaps, compared to what you've grown accustomed to in other archaeological digs around the world, but I'm happy to lend my assistance.
Yeah, she nods.
So, are we staying here? We should probably find a place to stay.
Cal says, "Oh, you're welcome to stay. We can make room. But whatever you prefer. There are 2 hotels in Darwin."
I almost think that Charlie, like, sorry, there's a dog barking outside. I almost think that Charlie would prefer to stay at the hotel almost, and not because he doesn't want to stay here, but because he doesn't want to draw like unnecessary attention to other people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. There are definitely hotels here in Darwin. Yeah, if y'all want to gather up your stuff, Ava can walk you over to the hotel.
Yeah, we just know that people know who we are,
Yeah.
and people could be after us. And if he has this very like precious item, we don't need to like draw additional attention to him and his family, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so she will walk you to the Victoria Hotel, and she says that she'll see Ganymede tomorrow to go about arranging everything for the expedition. Let's see. Because you're talking about going basically like across the country to the west. So there are going to be some things that she can radio ahead about. Camels versus horses. Probably camels. And then there's like basic tools, axe, spade, knives, hatchets. All sorts of things. Water skins, pannikins, so much food. So there's a lot to arrange, and she's got to kind of do it by communicating from Darwin to Port Hedland, or rather Concudgery. Yeah. So there's like, you can see a bit why they're kind of in a tizzy. Like, it's a huge undertaking, especially since it's going to be a ways away. So, yes, arrangements will start to be made, but we'll cut to all of you in the hotel. If there's anything you want to discuss. Of course, the Randolph Shipping Company is in town.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Charlie like really wanted to look into while we're here. That's like the business that he was talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, he definitely wants to look into the shipping company, see where they're like located, see if there's any suspicious things going in and out of this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before Ava leaves, I definitely like say, if anything happens, like anything out of the ordinary, any like eyes that shouldn't be on y'all, like come find us.
Yeah. Okay. So do we want to I'm frozen again. I'm about to switch my camera. Don't even think that I won't. Don't even think I won't do it, because I will. Okay. So yeah, do we want to check out the Randolph Shipping Company?
Yeah.
Just kind
Charlie
of.
would get them settled at the hotel and everything.
Yeah.
Get all that handled.
Yeah. Ava has some interesting phone calls ahead of her, like,
Yeah.
so, yes, I think even as she goes, when you're talking to her, Winnie, she's like, is he really good for it? Like, does he understand the cost of something like this?
Okay, so you kind of asked two separate questions. Yes, he is good for it. I'm not sure he understands cost.
That's exactly what I would have said.
She just kind of nods and, like, goes off. Okay, so the Randolph Shipping Company. I'm assuming y'all are kind of, I mean, is there anything specific about your approach? Are you just kind of casually walking through Darwin and trying to observe? Are you gonna, yeah.
So what Charlie might do is actually go to the shipping company and like pose as a person who might need things shipped here to get like actually inside the building and talk to like management and that kind of thing. Yeah, I think like he might, because this is like kind of almost true. I think what was the artist's name from London? Miles Shipley? Yeah. He might say that he's expecting, like, he wants to ship some priceless paintings from Miles Shipley from London to Australia. And needs, like, a trustworthy, like, shipping company. Would they be equipped to handle something like that? Like, would want to hear about, like, kind of their imports, exports. Could they ship from London to here? Like, how about New York? Like, I'm usually in New York. I'm traveling a lot, but my paintings are priceless. I need them with me wherever I go, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I'll roll whatever.
Okay. Yeah, you will. Okay, so just like walking in Darwin, I mean, the Randolph Shipping Company is like a 5-minute walk. That's how small this place is as the biggest city for 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
I think you see, again, it's dockside, so I think you see all kinds of crates being shipped in. You can assume that there are all kinds of goods. Yeah. So Charlie wants to talk to somebody. That's definitely possible. Let's see. I think the person who is most likely to be out. What are the rest of you doing as I pull this up? Chilling? What you doing?
I think the overarching goal for Winnie is to snoop.
Snoop.
Sort of just looking around the establishment, taking note of anything that seems off or any shipping locations that seem important as to what they know so far.
Yeah. So you're kind of planning on like going in, or are you looking kind of outside?
Fuck it, he's going in. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna go in with Charlie, Ganny and Irene.
I can distract while you snoop.
Ganny and Irene. What about you two?
I mean, just generally is looking out for anything weird and suspicious, which happens a lot.
Sure, it does. It does do that, doesn't it? Okay, so Charlie, let me get over here to the so many maps. Let's go to the Randolph Shipping Company. Oh, good. You can kind of see what the outside looks like, at least.
Oh, I love that.
Let's go over to the maps. There we go. There. Now everyone can see it. Yes, this is what we're looking at.
So small.
So small. Okay. So I think you see outside, I think, unloading stuff from a truck. You see tall and well-built, dark-skinned man in, like coveralls, kind of in charge of moving everything. So everybody can see. I don't know why I switched away. There he is. And that's the first person that you see. There are other workers around, but he obviously looks like he's in charge.
Yeah, Charlie will walk up to him.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, are you the person I should be speaking to about potentially importing a few valuable items?
He kind of it turns from what he's doing. No, that'd be Mr. Randolph. And he kind of like points up at the sign.
Fair enough. Is Mr. Randolph around?
He is. Mind if I ask what kind of stuff you're looking to ship?
Canvases, paintings, priceless paintings.
He nods. Sure, follow me. And he will, lead you inside after a few kind of, orders to the other workers.
Hey, Lauren, while we're in here, can I vibe check this area? Like, is there any like death like around?
Is there
here?
any death around here? Yeah, go ahead and vibe check
Are there any
it.
like lingering spirits? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. Because Miles
Sure.
Shipley's house was ripe.
It was.
So you just never know. Okay, let's see what's up. A success.
A success. Oh, you know what?
Tell me.
You don't get particular spirits,
Okay.
but as you and Winnie are kind of led inside, you do feel kind of drawn to a particular set of crates kind of near the loading dock.
Okay. I'll kind of vaguely, since we're following behind this guy, I'll kind of vaguely gesture at them to Winnie.
Uh-huh.
Like gesture at those crates
Yeah.
as like we need to look at those kind of thing.
Yeah.
But not say anything.
You kind of get like two pings. One as you're kind of walking inside.
Mm-hmm.
I will actually ping on the map for you. One here
Okay.
as you're led inside, and one that you pass kind of on the
On the dock.
outside, on the dock. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think like pointedly look in those two directions.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe even like casually like gesture with my hands like just to the side like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do.
Just feels like a concentration of like energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we headed out to the dock right now?
He's kind of led you into the warehouse and out on the dock.
Okay. I'll break off when we get out.
As you kind of break off, he's like, Mr. Randolph's this way.
Oh, yes, sorry. It's never been in an area like this before.
You've never been in a warehouse.
No, I am a professor. I don't do warehouses.
He kind of looks you up and down. Okay.
Library sort.
Yeah.
You could say that a library is a warehouse for books, but I wouldn't say that. So I would still say no warehouses. So just clearing the air on that.
I don't know that needed to be said, but it was said anyway.
Yep.
He just goes back to walking the two of you out. You get the sense he's a very kind of bold, non-bullshitter. But yeah,
I
he
love that.
walks you out and says, "Mr. Randolph, customer." And you see more pictures. We're doing all the pictures today. Toddy Randolph. Let me show everyone. I should show everybody. All the art. Art. Yes. Yeah, and the man kind of puts on a big smile. There's something about him. He kind of, as you get closer, he kind of smells of like stale sweat and last night's beer. You can see like the capillaries like burst around his nose. Obviously a heavy drinker. But he comes forward with a very large smile towards you, especially seeing how you're dressed, Charlie, and puts out his hand.
Yeah, Charlie will shake his hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to meet you, Mr. Randolph. My name is Charles Rapp.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Rapp. How can I help you?
Yes, I just wanted to find out more about where you can potentially ship from and the kind of goods that you usually ship. I have a small collection of very rare, one-of-a-kind paintings that would potentially be coming here from London, and would eventually need to be shipped to New York, likely. I wanted to see how equipped your modest shipping company would be to do something like that.
Yeah, he definitely has a reaction to modest shipping company.
It's pretty small.
It is small. You're correct. We do business everywhere. London, New York, even Kenya.
And do you have physical locations at all these places, or are you mostly...
We have partners.
Okay, so I would be needing to meet with other shipping companies in these various locations.
I mean, you could take my word that they're all above board, Mr. Rapp.
I could take your word for it. I could look into it myself. These are priceless items.
Well, they would be on our vehicles, so we could ensure that we were the ones handling them the entire way.
Okay, that's good to know. Have you done business with any names I might recognize?
Well, in terms of valuable, kind of, would you say priceless paintings, we've shipped artifacts to museums, foundations. There's and he thinks about it. In London, there's the Penhew Foundations, Egyptology, so lots of valuable artifacts.
Oh, wonderful. Actually, I was in London not too long ago and had a friend within the foundation. So that's good to hear. And what do you charge?
Yeah, he'll as he like goes into this, he's definitely overcharging. The thing he gives to you is exorbitant even for the kind of thing that you're suggesting. I think at some point Billy is kind of like he's listening pretty intently.
Mm-hmm.
I think think actually, where's his character sheet? We always need a good character sheet. Billy Burriglon. Okay. But he soon grows kind of disinterested in the price talk and and like kind of returns to what he was doing.
So, okay. It's good to note. And you do all of your shipping out of this singular building?
That's right.
Do you mind if you show me around? Show me your boats, how you handle your packages, where they're stored. These would need to be likely temperature controlled.
Sure. Yeah. He'll head out toward the dock with you, Charlie.
Yeah. Can I like touch, just casually like brush my hands like along like the area?
The area
like,
where the
see anything?
the-
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hold
Spirit
on.
vibes. Number 3 on the
Vibes.
map. Kind
All
of like
the
touch some
vibes.
stuff.
Yeah. Hold on.
I love just like putting my little grubby paws on everything.
I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You and Winnie both make spot hiddens.
Hell yeah, I'd love to.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Nice. Okay. As you're talking and kind of like reaching out, you see this crate where you've already kind of gotten the vibes from, right? Is addressed to the Penhew Foundation in London.
Cool.
Obviously hasn't gone anywhere because the owner of it is super dead. But it's also marked with a symbol that you now recognize, the sign of the sand bat on it.
Hell yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
How big is it?
Like between 3 and 4 feet high.
Shit.
Yeah,
Big crate. Cool.
It's a big one. It's kind of resting precariously.
Okay. Oh. Like I could like easily like knock it.
Yeah, you could bump it.
Okay, but can I bump it like in like a super casual like oops way?
Yeah, what would you like to roll for oopsing?
I don't know appearance. I don't know actually what oops. I mean it's what do you roll for oopsing?
I would take it was something social based, so maybe charm.
Okay.
You get your
Charm.
bonus die.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Charm.
Oh, nice. Amazing.
Should I even roll? Is the bonus? It replaces it no matter what. If it's worse.
No, it doesn't replace. It's only
Okay,
you take
okay.
the best one.
Okay, so that's a 2. So an extreme.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so this is gonna go off without a hitch. Do you want to describe anything?
Yeah. I think that Charlie is just like super like hands in pockets, like very like looking around, and I think he actually like turns his back to the package and like takes a step back to like look at something else, and then like bumps into that whole like pile, right? And it's just like goes crazy. Everything is like oops.
Yeah.
And Charlie immediately will like go, like turn around and like act like
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to do that.
Yeah.
Whoa, who could have?
And
Klutzy.
this is so effective. Randolph is like
Yeah,
keeping it together because you are obviously a golden goose. Winnie, you're not even sure if it was an accident. It was so good. And what rolls out? So this kind of
a
weak,
present.
with this weak softwood crate has splintered, revealing the contents. A grotesque wooden idol about 3 feet high. Maybe you would be able to know that it seems to be of Aboriginal Australian manufacture. It's covered with white painted geometric lines. It seems to be humanoid, this figure, without hair and with strange round thick whiskers like tentacles. The creature's hands and feet end in flipper-like appendages almost. The eyes are round with jagged facets and have a cruel expression. Winnie and Charles, make a sanity check.
Yeah, can we do a cult too?
You'll do something else.
Success.
Nice. Nice. Yes, holding it together. Now, Charles, because I don't think, Winnie, that you have any points in this. Charles, you can make a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
I would love to. Who knows? Oh,
Okay.
extreme success.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
Charlie coming in hot today. I nearly died, but I'm back, bitch.
So, in the books that you've been reading, obviously you've mostly been focused on Nyarlathotep, right? But you've also seen references to another being, a great old one, called Cthulhu. And with everything you've read about this being, this looks to be an excellent representation of it.
Charlie, like, is so apologetic,
Mm-hmm.
but he clocks the shit out of that statue.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not going to touch anything. I think he's going to let them handle it, right?
Yeah.
Because it would be I think that Charlie would be like, it would be weirder if he was like touching their shit. He's going to let them deal with it. I think he's going to be very apologetic, say he'll pay for the new, like a new crate. He'll pay for like whatever. He's
Yeah.
like down
And-
to cover if there's any damage, blah, 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 you know?
Yeah, and Toddy is happy to kind of like guide you away from it. And because this went off so well, Ganymede and Irene, I want you to make a luck check, both of you.
Ooh.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Okay, with that group luck check being successful, well, so when Toddy's talking, he does kind of call Billy back, and Billy had like just gotten back to the entrance of the warehouse, kind of like opens it, and like hears the crash and hears his name being called. Ganymede and Irene, you can both kind of see his exasperated look as he heads back inside, but he leaves the warehouse door open. And all the other guys are at the truck. I'm feeling so generous today.
I mean, like the door's open, guys. Like it's open.
Doors open.
Ganymede just looks at Irene like,
Yep, there's definitely like a shared, oh boy.
Ganny usually has to like break into these places.
know.
Look, Ganny,
Right?
door
I know.
open.
I know. So we'll just sort of casually, or I will sort of casually start walking toward that warehouse door.
Mhm.
Take a quick duck in.
It's just a sneaky peek.
Yeah. Alrighty. So you're in the warehouse. It is packed and doesn't look organized in any particular way that you can immediately tell. But give me some spot hiddens.
Oh, and I got to do
Ooh,
I got an
Damn.
extreme success.
nice.
and an extreme.
Nice. Okay. We're on what is
You know,
going
I didn't
on
even need
today.
to roll my
We're
bonus
like
die.
on
Damn.
something, you know, like
Yeah,
something's
like
in the water.
Something's going on in
Something's going on.
Couple things of interest as soon as you walk in. You see a locked roll top desk. For one. That seems to kind of stand out. You see like a bed. Looks like a cot. Maybe Randolph sleeps here or somebody else does. And I think, I don't know, just something, huh. something draws your eye, both of you, to this like pile of crates. I think it's the symbol. I think you spot the sign of the sandbat on a crate over there. This one is small.
How small?
Like, take it out of here, small.
Like, big enough to fit something like about this size. So, like this. Yeah, definitely carryable.
Yep. Probably gonna take that.
Okay, so you're gonna head
It's
over.
probably a terrible idea,
You're
but
gonna head
yeah.
over to the crates.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you can see it. It's definitely pick-upable. Whether or not you can get it out without being noticed is another thing.
Hmm.
We've been rolling hot as shit. Been doing so good.
Yeah, and I've got so many rerolls too. I've got 3 rerolls right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. I will probably reach out and grab it.
Yoink.
Is there? Can I just take a quick look around if there's like a burlap sack or something maybe laying nearby that I can drop it in and make a luck roll or
yeah,
something?
make a luck roll.
A hard success.
Sure, there's a burlap sack. Why not? It's a warehouse. Of course there's one.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it in a, drop it in a sack.
Okay.
And I'm looking at Irene like. In fact, I think I say, how much further shall we push our luck?
Well, I think we can safely say this warehouse needs a little bit of an inspection.
Yes, indeed. Well, perhaps I should get this out of sight.
Yes.
Then I will, I'll walk right back to those warehouse doors and very casually just walk out.
Okay, I think I want Irene. Are you joining?
I sure am.
Okay, I want a group stealth check.
Woo! I'm using one of my rerolls probably.
I'm probably using one of mine here too.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my god!
Never mind, I guess. What the fuck?
What is happening? What's going on today?
Roll 20. What?
Roll
What?
20? Are you like coming on to me actually?
Flirting with us? What are you?
I
sure.
Cry
Can
instantly.
someone clip that, please?
That was amazing.
Please to clip.
It almost made me cry immediately. That's so crazy.
Holy shit.
Good. This is
Dang.
This is great. This is good. You know,
No one ever saw them in this city yet. Like, they haven't ever been seen
Yep.
here.
like the absolute queens. Yep, you put that crate in a burlap sack and you walk the hell out and no one sees you.
We just fucking...
What this energy? What is this like badass energy? That's it. I'm increasing the number of enemies.
Oh no. Yeah, I think it's mostly just everything just there's no worry
Yeah.
between the two of them, like absolutely no concern. Like
We
Just
faced down the
grab and go.
mob. We've almost
Yeah.
been carried off by hunting horrors. Whatever.
yeah, this is just
There's
all
like-
right, cool.
Yeah, and I think for Ganymede too, there's like no hesitation anymore. This is life or death. There's, just months until the literal end of the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we can kind of, unless there's anything else Charlie and Winnie want to do.
We just leave. We get out of here. We came. We did. We're like Charlie's like feeling pretty good. Like, damn, I got to see what was in that crate. Like,
Just killing it.
Killing it. Exactly. No idea. Literally, we have no idea either that they came inside. Like, how could we? Yeah, but feeling good. Gonna reconvene with the group. Be like, okay, yo, listen up. Got some good info. Yeah. Good God. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes.
So you meet up. Maybe. Okay, yeah. When you find Ganymede and Irene outside, Ganymede's holding a burlap sack.
Did you go shopping, Ganny?
You could say that, Charles. Blink, blink.
Charlie's not a dumbass. What is it?
I don't know yet. It's in a crate that's marked with that sandbat symbol.
So there was another one.
I think because Charlie had clocked like another crate when he had walked in. I think he just, if it's okay with you, Ganny, I think he just grabs you by the face and kisses your cheek, like so fucking pleased with you, just like.
Yeah, that's 100% okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
We know it was in. There was another crate marked with the same thing that, marked with that symbol that the professor showed us. That we managed to see what was inside. We can talk about all of this when we get back to the hotel.
Yes, let's.
Yeah, let's fast forward to that moment where you've all reconvened. It's probably nighttime about now. Your first night in Darwin.
Yeah.
The crate.
You probably like ordered food and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that good stuff. Yeah.
The crate marked with that symbol. Easy enough to get open. It is labeled to be shipped to the Penhew Foundation.
Yeah, I imagine that pretty much as soon as we were inside, while we were opening the crate, Charlie was describing the other item, describing the statue, the markings to the best of his ability for Irene to potentially sketch, would help work with her to re-describe it, and would say because he knew the name Cthulhu, right? That name had actually been, and would point it out and would even go to look in whatever book he'd found it in to reference back to where he had heard of the name before, and would say that's what he believed it was a statuesque representation of Cthulhu that was going to the Penhew Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll help obviously open up the secondary crate.
Yeah.
Okay. As you do, it's inside is a device about 2 feet long. It's very odd. It's made up of machined rods, wheels, mirrors, and an eye tube. I will now show it to you. And everyone at home. Yes, I want to show them.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I would love to look into it. Just put my eye right up to the little.
Yeah.
What's up?
Just looking into it as it is now, you can see through it.
Okay.
Almost.
Are there any dials or
Yeah, there are lots
Anything to like
of...
futz with?
Yeah, there's lots of stuff to futz with.
Okay.
I would need, if you want to futz with it, I
Yeah.
would need a mechanical repair check.
Sure, I'd love to. Get fucked. Actually, just like get fucked to the entire universe right now.
What is going on?
You know what? Like, get
What is
fucked.
going on?
Roll 20 is hitting on us. Like, that's what's happening.
God.
This is
in
in
our
advance.
DMs.
I futz with it so good. It's never been futzed with like this.
Okay.
I think we broke Lauren.
Yeah. She was counting on a failure for that one. I got a 16 in mechanical repair.
Yeah, I was sure. I was like, if anyone
Streak
does it,
ends now.
it can't be Charlie, can it? So you start to kind of futz with all the like various things on it, and at some point, I feel like it's like instinct. You just almost like a puzzle of sorts, and it kind of buzzes and like thrums in your hand.
Sick. Yeah. Is it like a constant like vibration that's happening? Like it's like come to life, like on? Okay. I'm gonna obviously look into the hole again while it's on.
Make a power check.
Fucking shit. Okay, cool. I'd love to. Can I use re-rolls on power checks?
Yep.
I'm probably fine. We'll see. Who knows what's gonna happen? I'm gonna be fine probably. Hard success.
Not enough. So, as you bring it to your eye,
Yeah, cool. Hell yeah.
the rest of you see Charlie, stiff as a board, fall onto his back in the hotel room. And that's where we're going to end the episode.
What the?
Oh my god.
Don't put your eye out and stuff, kids.
What the fuck, Roll20? What happened?
No, don't rip. We had such a fun. We had re-rolled so good. Don't
That was
rip.
amazing.
That was amazing.
What has happened? Okay, let's go around to everybody, check in, see how we're doing before our next time. Let's start with Eli.
Hey, folks. I'm shocked. That's the only word I can use to describe how I am right now. You can find me at Reliable Elliot on Twitter, where I will be screaming about this experience for probably until you see me next time.
Amazing. Let's go over to Summer.
Hi. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about these roles. I mean, it literally it took me by surprise so much. Some of these roles that tears immediately sprung to my eyes because I was just so surprised, like how well they were doing. Like it's crazy. Yeah. I'm Summer. You can find me on Twitter at Just a Summer Job. That's where I tweet and retweet about everything that I'm doing. Literally can't wait for next week. Holy shit. We're if this is any indicator of how Australia is gonna go, Australia is our bitch, and that's all there is to it. We're gonna decimate this country. Here we go.
Oh my god. Okay, let's head up to Allie.
This was everything that I love about this game. It was incredible, like epic rolls. It was flirting with the new NPC, and we have encountered the great Cthulhu itself in this adventure for the very first time. I'm with you, Eli. I'm gonna be buzzing for the next week. This was awesome. Watch me buzz at Allison Robinson on Twitter with 2 L's and a Y, where I tweet about space and robots and RPGs and other cool stuff. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for this. This was a blast.
Good. Kienna, you got anything to say?
I don't already know. Yeah, you can find me over on Twitter at Kienna S. best way to figure out what I'm doing when I'm not here on the channel. But I'm mostly just here. Yeah. Wow, I really hope this Roll20 luck continues for me in my other game where I am fucking dying, actually. My character literally has 0 health, 0 spirit, -2 momentum. It's great. So yeah, Iron Sworn. It's a fun game. I am literally 1 miss away from dying, so I'm hoping that I continue this luck later today, which you can find over on Analysis with Summer too. God, yeah, just be here next time, I guess. I don't know what's happening.
Cool. I'm Lauren. I'm that salty ginger over on Twitter. I gotta figure out how to keep it spicy. I'm the spicy one, not you, RNG. I don't know. I'm here every Saturday running Masks of Nyarlathotep until they roll too well and I just give up because, like, what am I gonna do? Just add more horrible creatures. It'll be fine. Otherwise, yes, what about us? YouTube, Twitter, those things. We're on them and you can follow us there, where I'm sure we'll be posting that ridiculous clip of amazing rolls that we haven't had back to back in a long time. Otherwise, what else? Thank you to our sponsors, Dice MD, Grinding Coffee Co, and Roll20. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody who watched today. Thank you, Hawk, for that tip for our reroll vitamins. And is there anything else to say? I guess we're gonna go raid somebody. Yeah, we're gonna go raid our friend Invert. I think he's live, so we'll do that. But until next time, bye everybody. Bye. Bye.